Hello, Void Dwellers. A few days ago, I came across a video of a nice-looking older British gentleman. He looked like someone who might teach you poetry or high school English. But what he actually talked about was how the government admits that the insane conspiracy theory of chemtrails is true, and that they use those chemtrails to fight global warming, which is of course fake to begin with. And he based the entire thing on an uncredited video he found online of what appears to be some kind of a scientific convention on climate change, maybe hosted by Home Office here in the UK, or maybe Home Office just participated, I don't know. I couldn't find any information about the video, not what year it was taken in, not where, when, why, nothing. But the point is, in the video, this person who is apparently from Home Office, he's talking about suggestions and hypotheses that were raised in order to try and counter global warming. For example, the idea that maybe we can somehow reflect back some of the sun rays, maybe by spreading different things into the atmosphere. Now, if you read or watch scientific content, you probably have heard of such ideas and theories, and you probably also know, just like the person in the video actually says, that they all have been rejected as either being impractical or too dangerous. But the older, nice English gentleman still uses that video as proof that someone from Home Office is admitting they have been spreading chemicals in the atmosphere to counter global warming. And of course global warming is a hoax because the world has been around for millions of years, which is an improvement on those who say the world is only 5,000 years old, but still way off. But okay, the world has been around for millions of years, and therefore it is illogical that humans could ever change the environment. And if you're thinking, that's not how logic works, then you are probably a foolish science supporter. And carbon is good. We all need carbon to survive. And of course, all those people who spend their entire lives studying this one subject, earning degree after degree, writing papers, all those scientists with their knowledge and education, they are all fools and insane to believe in what they believe in. If this were a Monty Python skit, it would have been funny. But this guy is serious. And he has thousands of views and comments. And all of his commenters join in on the insanity, supporting what he says. People, we have to start talking about the real issue of the world. The real cause of all of humanity's problems. From racism to corruption, to wars, to traffic jams and accidents. We need to talk about stupid. Because for some reason, talking about stupid in our society has become like this huge taboo. We're not supposed to recognize stupid, we're not supposed to comment on stupid, and we're supposed to treat stupid as if it's not stupid. And that is what fucks this planet up over and over and over. Look at what is happening in the world right now. How many crises are made worse by stupid? How many people die because of stupid? How many stupid wars are fought? Who are those masses who blindly support the most corrupted leaders? It's not the scientists. Who took a legitimate social issue like trans visibility and acceptance and turned it into a moronic trend that made everyone lose their shit day in and day out? It's not the thinkers. Look at the wins of the far right in Europe. And yes, I completely agree that not all of them are really far right like the media paints them, but some of them are. And they do attract thugs and racists, and even the more moderate amongst them will lose control over the situation very soon if they come to a position of power. And I have no doubt that we'll see the peace that was maintained in most of Europe since World War II evaporates if that happens. And it's the stupid who drove people to vote for them, and it's the stupid who vote for them. Stupidity is a real active danger in our world. It causes harm. It costs lives. And yet we behave as if it's not even a thing. Or at most we treat it as a joke. Like the great George Carlin said, think of how stupid the average person is and then realize that means at least half of the population is even dumber than that. And one thing we need to change in our perception is that stupid doesn't necessarily look like what we expect stupid to look like. And not everyone who looks smart is actually smart. That English gentleman I mentioned in the beginning is well dressed and well spoken. He has charisma. I was enjoying listening to him even as I was cringing at what was being said. Stupid is not necessarily someone who looks the part, which is why sometimes you may talk to a stranger or someone you only recently met, and you think you are having a conversation with a regular person, and then they say to you, well, you know, science has actually proven reincarnation. Which I actually had someone saying that to me mid-conversation, out of the blue. I thought they were joking, and when they insisted they weren't, I asked, wait, you think science has proven the existence of souls? And they said, no, just reincarnation. That is amazing. Or the not War Machine actor Terrence Howard, who released a book and went on Joe Rogan's podcast to discuss it, in which he claims that scientists are all wrong to think that 1 × 1 = 1, because that doesn't make any sense. Because according to that, if you duplicate a penny by another penny, you still get only 1 penny. That is so stupid on so many levels. But the most important is his lack of understanding, not just of basic primary school math, but he doesn't even understand what math is to begin with. In all of those cases, there is a common element, a constant, which is the inability of people to see the patterns, to follow through, to be consistent and logical. That is what stupid really is. It's not about being right or wrong, by the way. Hell, I was wrong more times than I care to admit. But a stupid person maintains their opinion and beliefs even if they are proven wrong. And that's why they have the most insane, irrational opinions. Their opinions are not evidence-derived. They are not there because they have a real desire to study the world, but because they have a desire to see the world molded into a certain shape because of emotional and evolutionary inclinations they have. And nothing, no argument or reason can sway them from that path. Stupid people is the reason non-issues are made into huge issues. Stupid people take everything out of proportion, and there is no reasoning with them. Think about homophobia. Even as a kid, I couldn't fathom why that was even an issue. People dedicate their life, their time, their attention to hate other consenting adults for their sexual preferences that have absolutely nothing to do with them, that have no consequences on their own lives. How can that even be? I always wondered, who is dumber? Those who hate gay people out of religious reasons, or those who just feel it's some kind of a threat to them? Because the religious person believes that their God forbids homosexuality, and that has real consequences in their mind, in the world or in the afterlife. In Judaism, the ultra-religious believe that same-sex sexuality angers God so much that he creates earthquakes and natural disasters. So they believe battling homosexuality actually saves lives. They are, of course, oblivious to the fact that those disasters can be explained without their imaginary friend, or the absurdity of a being with all the universe and eternity in its mind, but what it cares about is what people are doing with their dicks, or the obvious social reasons that these kind of taboos were even created in some ancient societies. And then there are those who do not believe and hate homosexuals just because they feel some kind of a primitive threat. They just follow an evolutionary programming in the human creature that makes us separate ourselves into groups in a constant fight for resources and a superiority that would lead to control over them. They are unable to analyze themselves. They are slaves to their lizard brain. Same thing with racism. Racism is a badge of honor of stupidity. It's the easiest identifier, because racism in its essence is the lazy judgment placed on another human being based on superficial characteristics that help stupid people categorize the world, and usually the people they judge have no control over them, such as the level of melanin in their skin or the country they came from. Of course, the righteous stupid person doesn't understand that either, and they take it to the other extreme. These are divided between those who think they're progressive by hating on white people, because it's not discrimination and generalization that was the problem. Oh no, it's just that the wrong group was discriminated against and was generalized. So if you do it to the right group, that's it, you fix the world. They don't see the patterns. They can't follow through. They can't be consistent. And then there are those who would try to prove their lack of racism by ignoring any wrongdoing that comes from the cultural differences of people who come from groups that were traditionally hated by the West. So they end up treating them like children who can never be responsible for their own actions. If they do something wrong, it must be those racist white people's fault. And they don't even realize they actually believe in this racist white supremacist idea that only white people are smart enough to act consciously, so only they can be responsible for anything bad. I sometimes come across really extreme examples of this sort of stupidity, like people who try to explain non-white tyrants like Genghis Khan by saying they were influenced by their contact with the West. How fucking ignorant and condescending that is. In short, stupidity is the lack of subtlety. It's an inability to see patterns, an inability to be consistent and follow through. A few months ago, there was this video that became viral of a teacher talking to a student who says that J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, and the teacher very calmly asks him to prove that statement, and eventually the student admits they cannot and they take it back. Now, I enjoyed that video, but I didn't enjoy the fact that people found it so amazing, and I definitely didn't like that it had backlash that even lost the teacher his job. Because he didn't do anything that should be considered special. He was just doing the Socrates thing, asking the student to think critically and support his claims with arguments and evidence. And he kept asking questions and peeled off the bias and ready-made opinions the student held. He was teaching the student how to think, which is what a teacher should be doing. It doesn't even matter if J.K. Rowling is or is not objectively a transphobe. That is besides the point. The main thing was to be able to be consistent and logical in your thinking, in your arguments. Critical thinking was the point. And that shouldn't be something unique or special in society, but it is. It's even, apparently, controversial. And why? Because as stupid as the average person is, that means that half of the population is even dumber than that. Our entire world is aligned to the stupid. The largest common denominator is the most profitable. So that's where everything is aimed at. A politician cannot be subtle and smart because they would simply not be elected. We dumb down our movies and shows to make them profitable. We dumb down our schools to make everyone feel included. It's not the strong pupils that we care about, it's the weak ones. We bring down the total level so that the dim-witted could keep up, and the smart kids are being neglected. In many places, if the kid is not from a wealthy family and cannot afford private schools or extra programs, or if the parents are neglective and are not present enough to point out the path, the potential can just waste away. The system is just not built for them. And we are fine with it as a society, even though it is not the morons that make all the technological marvels that we enjoy today. No moron invented the multi-core processor. No moron makes new medical strides towards curing cancer. No moron made HIV from a death sentence into a manageable chronic condition. No moron invented 3D graphics and touch screens and computers so tiny you can put them in your pocket but who still have enough power to run a space shuttle. which also no moron has invented. Why are we pandering so much to the stupid? Because there are many of them. That's why. Because it's profitable, both economically and politically, to pander to them. And because of that, we keep smart people down for the sake of the stupid. We live in a society where smart people are being told to keep it to themselves. Don't flaunt it. Don't be a snob. Don't be condescending. While the stupid are told to celebrate themselves, be themselves, shout about themselves from all the rooftops. And of course, buy these products that would make them more themselves, and vote for these politicians who would defend the right to be themselves. But then inevitably, they always also bring disasters with them. Because if you build a boat full of holes just because stupid people thought that the holes look kinda cool, don't be surprised when it sinks and hundreds of people drown. We pander to the stupid, and to do so, we put down the smart, even though it is the smart who actually give us all the benefits of modern life that we enjoy. Maybe it's time to rethink our trajectory. I don't have an A to Z plan for you on what should change, on how. I just know that I'm tired of normal people paying for the dumbestness of stupid. That's the main reason I left Israel. There's a lot of stupid in Israel. I mean, just recently I saw a poll that said that the most popular non-Israeli band in Israel is Coldplay, so come on. For 36 years, I saw the country become worse and worse, more religious, more conservative, more Middle Eastern. I saw people vote again and again for corrupted and incompetent leaders. I saw people falling for the dumbest political tricks or the greed of companies. And every time I tried to tell people we could be doing things better, in a smarter way, I always got the same replies. You're delusional, it will never work, you're just a leftist, you're an anarchist, you're whatever. And when I would say, it already works, look at Europe, look at Japan, there are other countries out there and they do the same thing but better, and it already works. And they would say, well, this is the Middle East, it's not Europe, it won't work here. Like some other laws of nature govern the Middle East. And as I saw the country become worse and worse, I saw my own quality of life becoming worse and worse as well. So eventually I said, alright, you idiots seem to have everything under control. Good luck to you all. I'm fucking off, and I moved to the UK. Which is why I always say I escaped the madhouse and I joined the circus. The point is, I was tired of paying a personal price for having to live surrounded by stupid. But you know what? While living in the UK did help in my own micro-universe to improve my quality of life, the problem of normal people paying for living alongside stupid is a global thing, and it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's becoming worse and worse. So let's have a mental race. The first one to figure out how to shield the world from stupid wins.